Welcome to the Blessed to Teach show. Here we are on Monday, December 3rd, and we learned about a new aspect of the deep state. The Fox News cabal is in control of Hannity. You can say that they made Hannity council key guests tonight. We're expecting 3 deep state guests. Our guests that we're going to be calling out the deep state, and they all got canceled, showing the power of the cabal. That's the execs at the news, at Fox News. So people are starting to come on now. We see Jeremy and On the Beach in Florida, and we've got Ben from Virginia, and Chelsea from McLean, Texas, and Martin from Los Angeles, and people from St. Louis and Minnesota and Arizona and Ontario, Canada. Thank you guys. Frustrated, says Jill. Phoenix, Arizona, Canada, Minnesota. Thank you guys. A couple people from Minnesota. California, Idaho. Okay, we're going to get rolling here because there's a lot to cover here. I got probably 2 shows worth of stuff, so we're going to kind of flip around a little bit. But we have a lot of decoding to do, and we learned a confirmation, I guess. We confirmed that the Fox News is a cabal. They're completely controlled opposition. There's guests coming on Hannity. Q tells us about it, and they get canceled. So Hannity doesn't even have control of his own show as the Fox cabal makes him, just the same Fox cabal that announced that the Democrats were going to win the House 2.5 hours before all the voting polls were closed. That is completely a cabal move. And so we're talking at the Blessed to Teach show here on December 3rd. Let's dig into it now. If you look at this last post, it just came out like probably a half hour ago, right after they realized that Fox execs polled 3 scheduled guests. Fox 41 focuses on 41 Q. So they're going to focus on the death of George Bush. He was going to do that a little bit, but he had all these guests. So we get a Santa Claus section about some New Jersey person talking about Santa Claus, and we get all this silly news that Sean Hannity had to do that wasn't even his 3 key guests. They all got canceled by the cabal, the Fox News cabal. Remember Vladimir Lenin, who was USSR, propagandist, the best there was, said the best way to control the opposition, the best way to control the opposition is to lead it ourselves. That's why this cabal controls the Alex Joneses of the world, and it controls the Fox Newses of the world. So it's wild stuff. You just can't get real news. Even Hannity, who has his heart in this and wants to tell you the truth, can't even do it because he works for a network that's completely controlled. That's why Mark Taylor said the news media is a stench to God's nostrils, and God's about ready to replace it all. I just cannot wait till that happens. I tell you what. But tell you what, Trump is trolling like mad. It is so awesome. We're going to go over some of the trolling he's doing and all these tweets. This was actually, if you go on to Donald Trump's Twitter, you will not see this tweet that Q posted. This was one that he posted like a year ago that he deleted. So Q reposted that to basically, he knew there was going to be 3 key witnesses, including, I'm going to show you one of them, that was literally the guy who was the whistleblower on the Clinton Foundation that his house got raided. That person, I'll show you him in a little bit, was going to be on there. So anyway, Donald Trump has changed everything. And the way he's trolling these news organizations, now they're showing, Fox News, who used to hide the cabal behind, now the cabal is going to have to come out front. This is good news, not bad news, guys. This is good news because now everybody's seeing that Fox News is controlled opposition, right? Because Donald Trump's making them do it. Q's making them do it. So don't get down on this. This is exactly why Donald Trump is such an amazing troller, right? And can get these guys to show their colors. That is the whole key here. So we ended on December 2nd after my show last night, and I believe we did go over this one. It came in pretty late, but it still said, be proud, the world is about to change, right? And that is just one thing that is just true, and I just played this for you guys. If you guys didn't see this yesterday, go see this. This is 59 seconds of a man singing in a Chick-fil-A, God bless the USA, and it's awesome. Gave me chills and tears in my eyes. And so that's where we ended last night. So now we get in and we start with post 2537. Before we get into this, I want to get to my sponsors about Trump. He's a master at this. And there's a President Trump 2020 Freedom Coin that makes a perfect Christmas gift, guys, or just it also makes it a good investment. Silver 999. You can actually use this for your IRA, your 401ks, because it's a silver coin. You can also get the gold coin, but that gold coin is $895. You can get this awesome Trump coin for much cheaper than that. We'll talk about it in a second. It's a President Donald J. Trump 2020 Freedom Coin. These come beautifully already wrapped in the plastic, so you can see the coin perfectly, but it's protects it from the oil from your fingers. But I tell you, with tinsel and Christmas and your family comes and it just kind of goes away. Well, these won't go away. You'll have something here for after Christmas that will be able to say, look what I had before the mass arrest, before the military tribunals. Here it is, 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, delivering as promised with the first major tax reforms in 30 years, unemployment rate lowest in 18 years, jobless claims low since 1973, Dow Jones highest in history. A great coin with very detailed stuff. Printed in July. They've sold thousands of these now. Again, $1,895 for a gold one, if you can afford that. I went with the silver ones for my Christmas presents, $35. And you can, if you order over 3, you get free shipping with using the coupon code BLESSED. So again, use the coupon code BLESSED for 3 or more coins, and you'll get free shipping. Get these puppies now so that you can get them before Christmas. I think these take a while to ship, so you're going to want to get them pretty quickly if you want them before Christmas. All right, let's get into this decoding. This is awesome stuff that we saw. Again, don't be disappointed. I know it's frustrating when we're going to finally get good information on Sean Hannity, but now we know everybody's going to see that Fox is controlled opposition, deep state cabal control. Okay, 2537. Here we go. Odds of a state funeral on D5. How many coincidences before mathematically impossible? 68, 95, 99.7 rule. And you'll see this. There's a law, a mathematical law that talks about this, where it gets to the first, second, and third deviation. When you get to this third standard deviation, it means it's pretty much an impossibility for it not to be, right? It's 99.7%, right? That means it's pretty much a surety. And so that's the third, and so he's already told us one time that it's beyond the standard deviation way back in, I think, June or July. Based on all the proofs he's given us, that's impossible that Trump's not working with Q. And Q is real and legit, working with, and that's what he's pointing to here. And I'll show you some of the Anons actually dug up exactly what that law is and exactly what the standard deviation, etc. So I'll show you that here in a second when we get to a new person's Twitter feed. You got to follow this person, and I'll show you here in a second as well. Whoa, good stuff. 2538. And she talks about military tribunals and the fact that we're in a state of war and just awesome logic that I haven't seen yet. And I'm going to go review here after we go through these decodes real quick. 2538. Here is the Epoch Times. This is probably one of the key posts of the whole series here because it actually gives an article showing that something is happening. And there was key events of 4 things with the Clinton Foundation, Uranium One, the FISA/Spygate. It's all coming down. It talks about, and this basically says, 4 investigations share a common thread. And it's talking about the federal agents remove computer equipment and document boxes from the Southside 14th Ward Alderman Ed Burke in Chicago, right? And if anyone tells you they're tired of nothing happening with regard to ongoing investigations, perhaps they should take a closer look at the number of events that came to light over the past few days. Again, this was November 30th article. But in a matter that caused no small amount of worry and consternation amongst supporters of President Donald Trump, the Daily Caller reported on November 29th that the FBI had raided the home of whistleblower Dennis Nathan Cain. And Dennis Cain was supposed to be on Hannity tonight. It kills me, right? But the cabal raises its head and cancels him, even though Hannity, literally 5 hours before his show, everything was ready. And so that just shows you the deep state control of Fox News there. But anyway, this article goes really deep into 4 different events, talking about, again, the FISA gate, talks about the Clinton Foundation, Uranium One, Quite a great stuff. So go look at that article. I'm not going to go into the details of that because I have better stuff to share for you. I mean, obviously Q wants us to read that article, so go ahead and dig that in your own time. I think you'll enjoy seeing that there is something happening, and that's what the whole culmination of D5 was on December 5th, and the fact that that's why the deep state had to show everything. They're showing exactly who they are, and it's becoming so obvious because they're literally having to interrupt government in session type things, and literally the conservative news station, supposedly the anti-deep state news station, showing that they control that too. So now people hopefully will start waking up. Anybody who understands Q are waking up to the fact that, wow, I can't even trust Fox News. No, you can't. And I can't look at Congress can be controlled. The schedules can be controlled by this deep state. That's how powerful these guys are and why they need to be taken out. Right? So 2538 says, DOJ policy does not discuss ongoing investigations. Majority of leaks by them serve to their benefit. Some do not. Some are designed to provide the public with a glimpse into the shadows. And I think what he's saying is that you get a glimpse in this article. So go read this Times article and you'll think you'll like it. Glimpse gives them leverage. Leverage leads to panic. Panic shows the rats. RATS capitalized again. Dark to light. Q 2538. We go to the next one. It's 2539. It says the public is about to learn that the DOJ, FBI, plus other U.S. foreign assets have been actively working behind the scenes in one of the largest criminal investigations in modern day history. Declass, purpose, illuminate the truth. People transparency is the only way forward. Controlled media, all in capital letters, enemy of the people, Q. And we now see that in spades. And it's not just NBC, CBS, ABC, MSNBC. It includes Fox News. They're the enemy of the people. That is 2539. Then we look at 2540. Here we look at community calendar by week. It says postponed. And so this was down, man. For about 3 hours, you could not even get to this site. In fact, I didn't even take a chance, so I already kept it up for you guys because just in case it went down again. But you can see everything got postponed. This is why people are frustrated, right? But guys, this shows how desperate they are. They know that the FISA-gate plus the Clinton Foundation Uranium One is their downfall. Their absolute downfall. The collusion or the corruption to free Hillary when she was obviously guilty. And then all the exonerated evidence we're starting to see now come out about Trump's supposed to be exonerated by now. That Mueller hasn't presented has got him in trouble. So this is all coming together right now. Now, here it says, postponed. Well played, deep state. Please allow us to counter. Q. So what's that counter? Part of it could have been putting those people on Fox News, those 3 guests on Fox News, and all of a sudden the deep state pulls out their cards, showing their heads. So the deep state's having to come out of their holes, right? So people are going to find out who canceled those guests, right? And now you know who the enemy in Fox News is, right? And you know it's not Hannity. Obviously, he was trying to get him on the air. And then this is why it's a military intelligence operations, where you know the enemy could do 7,000 things, and you prepared for all 7,000. And if you prepared for all 7,000 of those, then you can make the move. So okay, deep state, you delayed this. No big deal. Here's what I'm going to do. There's a lot of cool theories about what Trump could do on Wednesday. He's now closed the government down. So it actually allows him the ability to arrest, if he wants to, some congressmen. So I'm not sure if he's going to do that. There's a lot of people hoping. I don't think arrests of the big fish are going to happen until they can't walk the streets. I've told you that many times, so don't get your hopes up. But he can now go arrest people on Wednesday, right after the funeral, right before the funeral, during the funeral. I doubt he's going to do that. But a lot of people are speculating that that's part of a potential counter move, right? That's 2540. Let's go look at some of the things that got canceled. Here it is. So we had all the stuff that was going to happen on the 5th. If you look here and hit look at show more details, and it shows this is where we were going to have Google coming in. We had Huber coming in. And you can just look at rescheduled, postponed, rescheduled, postponed. So this is the deep state. This is where Q says, well played, deep state, where they basically got Google off the hook, took Huber out of it, Loretta Lynch, Comey's playing his games. The only thing that stayed in was this artificial intelligence thing. It's the only thing that pretty much doesn't have anything to do with what we want to see happening here, right? So that was 2540. Look at 2541, the Great Awakening, right? And I think part of that was going to be what was going to be shown on Hannity, I would guess. So we have to wait a little bit, be patient, because this is, again, they're showing their cards, right? 2542 said, watch on Hannity tonight. Again, this was not a recent tweet. This was over a year ago that Q just put, because Q wanted us to watch it. And interesting that his show was watered down like mad because he lost his 3 top guests. Just think about that. You got your 3 top guests. You've pretty much destroyed your show, right? And that's what happened to Hannity. They destroyed the Cabal, destroyed Hannity's show tonight. Why? Because they had to show their hand. Here you have 2543. The art of trolling the fake news media. This is where Trump's so amazing. This is why I love these coins. I bought some for Christmas presents, right? Because it's so cool. He is on step 1, the art of trolling the fake news media. So basically, he's talking about this tweet here. You kind of have to go to the one before it, which I may do here for you guys. But his whole point is that he put scot-free in capital. His wife and father-in-law, who has the money, and he's talking about Michael Cohen, his lawyer. Basically, they're using bribery. It's like legal for these prosecutors to use bribery, lie to me, or else you're going to jail. I'll give you. I won't let your son and wife won't go to jail either if you just lie to me about Trump, right? That's stupid that is legal to do, but that's why these federal prosecutors have like a 95% success rate in the way they count it, right? Because they get people to create news, false testimony, right? And so, but the fact that he said scot-free with capital letters, everybody's going, who's scot-free? So misspelling plus there's capital letters. Who is scot-free? And that's his master trolling, because now everybody's asking that, and including the Anons are looking at it, and they found the answer, which I'll show you here in a bit. So, and then it says step 2. So everybody's asking who's scot-free, right? And then here's an article. It says President Donald Trump, latest misspelling, has Twitter users wondering who is scot-free. Here's a whole article about this, right? And here's the first part of that tweet that said Michael Cohen asks judge for no prison time. You mean he can do all of the terrible, unrelated to Trump, things that to do with fraud, big loans, taxis, etc.? And so he's got dirt on him, obviously talking about this very specific thing with taxis, and not serve a long-term prison term. He makes up stories to get a great and already reduced deal for himself and get his wife and father-in-law, who has the money, off scot-free with a. So what's scot-free? This is the trolling he does. And then Q tells us the answer with this Wikipedia thing here. White Squall, where we go one, we go all. Scot-free Productions. So we've seen White Squall before, right? So this is a White Squall, which is the movie that has 2 key phrases in it. Several times during the trailer, it talks about where we go one, we go all. Where we go one, we go all. And then it also says calm before the storm. In the trailer, a little 1.5-minute trailer. And so, Q, as awesome as he is, White Squall, where we go one, we go all, from the movie. Thank you for playing, Q. And then here he actually gives us that very trailer. If I play it, I'll probably get some copyright strike. But in here, we'll watch this 1 minute and 53-second video. Trailer, and you will actually see where we go one all, where we go one we go all twice, and then at the very end, calm before the storm. So worth going to see this trailer that he put. I'm going to try to watch this movie too. It wasn't very popular. It was like 296th movie of 1996, so it's a 1996 movie. But obviously, even I saw somewhere that this person died the day that president said, most people say on October 6th, he said calm before the storm. It was actually October 5th. So if you go look at this famous guy with the last name of Scott, he will actually died on October 5th, like 2001 or something like that. And that is October 5th is when Trump announced calm before the storm for the first time, which happened to be 23 days before Q came on board. 23, remember 3322 or 32 is the skull and bones. And so he reverses that and says, I'm coming after you at 23. So 23 days later, there he is. So interesting stuff going on here. Here we got 25, 45 we just went over. No, this is a new one. This is amazing to me. So if you watch the news, the poor guy who had the QAnon patch that was part of the SWAT team, smiling with pants, literally got demoted off the SWAT team. That is just uncalled for deep state move of, well, it's Broward County. What do you expect, right? So what does Q do? He basically says I believe most Anons believe he's talking to that person, that sergeant, saying, if you decide to change careers, your name has been entered into fast tracked. And he actually says, want to get into Secret Service, wanting to get the FBI, here you go. Here's how you apply. That is just so cool. We're taking care of the patriots here. Get started your own career path today. Here's the whole thing about the Secret Service. And he also links FBI jobs here. So I wouldn't be surprised if it gets a lot more applicants besides just FBI jobs. So we'll as we review some more things, I'll show you where I found the fact that's where most of the Anons are pointing. Here you go on 2546. Okay, is a plot moving forward? I think we all understand the characters and conflict at this point. Time for the plot twist. D-Class finally? So I know we're all dying for the D-Class, but remember, it's always good to get testimony in the order you want it, and D-Class afterwards to show them how they all lied. Right? You have much better chance of somebody finally flipping and going, okay, I'm gonna tell you the truth here, because I don't want to put myself in that much jeopardy. But then he basically, that was an Anon that said that in 2546. So then Q answers the Anon by saying, the President of the United States initiated and confirmed the order when he stated the calm before the storm. When was the statement made? That was October 5th. When did Q go live? October 28th. That's the 23 days if you look at that, which is really cool if you think about the numerology we're always talking about. And he says, watch the news, watch the FBI, watch the DOJ, Q. Now, if they're going to strip Hannity from the ability to do this, it's going to be real interesting what Q and Trump and the White Hats are going to have to do here, because they're pulling out the capability of them even using the get news to even get it to us, right? So we'll see what happens there. But I'm going to read you a post here that talks about how Trump might just be taking over the news here soon. He's got the authority to do that. We'll dig into it. 2547. Fox exec polled 3 scheduled guests off Fox 41. So talk about a frustrating day when this is the week, this is D5 week, etc. And the deep state pulls all their cards. Death of George W. Bush. They ask for the funeral on the 3rd. Which is the 5th, which is the actual date, the D5 date, right? They get everything postponed, and then they make Hannity cancel his guests. That it's going to basically start unloading on the Clinton Foundation, right? So, so you may be frustrated, but I'm telling you, that just shows their cards. They just played them all, and we know who's doing it. I found some great things too that we're going to dig into with another person that's doing awesome decoding that I just was so amazed with, and that's what we're going to get into next. That's why I'm jumping to that as fast as I can, because it's like, whoa, that is cool. Here it is. So this is somebody called Lady Q Anak. I hadn't followed her until tonight. When I saw this, it was linked from vote.co, voat.co, and I read through her thread here, and I'm going, wow, she's incredible. So I went and found her thread today, and it's incredible too. So she does an awesome job, really suggest. It's almost like a neon revolt type thing, not quite as depth, but it's more timely, right? So she's obviously on the HM boards. She's giving us stuff from the Anons, as well as her analysis. And so this Lady Kunuk on Twitter is awesome. So it says, urgent, must read, incoming thread. Now, I think this was on December 1st or so that she did this, December 1st, right? And it says, Q has told us many, many times to read the executive orders, so I decided to do a deep dive. Hashtag POTUS. Executive orders show clear plans for mass arrest and military tribunals. A lot of people, trolls, are saying, oh, it's never going to happen. There's a storm coming. And she goes, number 2. Below, I lay out the evidence for President Trump's plan to issue mass arrest of deep state traitors, then try them for treason under military tribunals. The EOs clearly spell out the timeline and why we haven't seen arrests yet. It's coming, but when? Buckle up and read on. Now, I've done a lot of study on this, and there's a few things that she points out that I had never thought of, and I think you might enjoy this. Number 3, Executive Order 13825, March 1st, 2018. 2018 amendments to the Manual of Court Martial U.S. The deep state attempt to start World War III, kill 90% of humanity, and create a coup of the government has been axed. Thank you, POTUS. So changing this did a few things. And the whole plan of using this to basically probably put us in FEMA camps, right? The people that didn't think like they wanted them to. Now it's been twisted and updated to basically do military tribunals. And that's this whole 2018 amendments to the Manual for Courts Martial in the United States. It allows a lot of things, including having people that are civilians help the military courts so we can do more volumes at the same time. So this executive order and 636-page annex that President Trump signed on March 1st is a clear sign that POTUS and DOD are preparing for military tribunals and martial law. And obviously, she's got this thing that says, warning, martial law in effect within this area. Number 5, although difficult to read, this executive order essentially establishes the preservation of the government's right to prosecute crimes for treason. Yeah, somebody forwarded that to you on Twitter as well. Awesome. So you can tell this is a really great thread, and I'm going to be enjoying her threads as we go. Against the U.S., all of which may be prosecuted via military tribunals under existing U.S. law. Number 6, the basis of this order is that all U.S. civilians can be subject to military tribunals, and the military will be able to hire non-military legal experts to help with the upcoming trials. And so this non-military legal experts, that's what I was telling you about. So we can take honest people that are in our civilian system and use them to supplement all the military tribunals. 7, this executive order will allow deep state traitors to be arrested by military, police, and so the military doesn't have to be the FBI, doesn't need to be the local police force, it can be the military police, and subject to military trials run by the Pentagon, completely bypassing the corrupt court system, which has been deliberately stacked with complicit deep state traitors and resistant judges. To accomplish this, President Trump must declare temporary martial law. Martial law is the imposition of direct military control of normal civilian functions of government, especially in response to a temporary emergency such as invasion or major disaster or in occupied territory. Now, I know a lot of you are going, man, I don't want martial law in this country. Guys, we're going to have it for a period of time, and you'll see why here in a second. It's a temporary period of time. Number 9, page 2, Annex 2 describes one exercise of military jurisdiction as, quote, a governmental temporary governing the civil population within its territory or a portion of its territory through its military forces as necessity may require. Martial law. So it doesn't have to be the whole country. It can be the different pockets. Where most likely Antifa is going to be the biggest, most likely where most of the deep state are located, etc. So you can expect D.C. and Baltimore and parts of California, etc., most likely to be under martial law at some point in time. Number 11, the confirmation of Kavanaugh to SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States, was the key to getting this done in a timely manner, which explains why the deranged left were fabricating false allegations against Kavanaugh and staged coordinated, well-funded protests to try to block the Senate from confirming him. 12, now that Kavanaugh is on the court, he will add the necessary support for constitutional emergency powers that concentrate power in the executive branch of government currently headed by President Trump during times of war and national emergencies. And by the way, there was a ruling right now where they're trying to say Trump can't build a wall because of environmental reasons. We need to take this to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said, no, we're not even going to look at it. Kavanaugh showing right now that he's going to be supporting the wall. All right. Now, number 13, fact. The U.S. has been operating under a state of declared war since September 11th, 2001, following the 9/11 attacks. This is key, guys. This is what the deep state did. They make money on wars. And so they got us in World War I. They got us in World War II. They got us over in Vietnam. So where they're making all their money. They're funding both sides of this stuff. And so now they figured out, hey, I got a way we can be in perpetual war. Let's be a war against terrorism. Therefore, 9/11 happens. Woo! That's a coincidence. And then boom, the Patriot Act comes in. We're in a state of war. So we can take anybody that has anything to do with 9/11 and we can try them in military tribunals. And we are in a state of war. And now the deep state's funding all these bombs we're dropping everywhere. Right? So they love that. So this is key. We're operating under a state of declared war since September 11th, 2001. So since 9/11, again, we're in a declared war against terrorists. And that was the excuse to continue to spend massive money on the military, massive, the war against terrorism. Fact, the U.S. has been operating under a declared national emergency. Again, this is different, by the executive order signed by President Trump on December 20th, 2017. I think this was the 22nd. I'm pretty sure. I talk about this all the time. This is one of my favorite things. This EO that he signed on December 22nd. Put us under national emergency for human rights abuses, right? So right now we have both those things going on. Here's the key insight I got here. We're about to get to it here. POTUS plans to try deep state traitors in a military tribunal for treason is justified and lawful. The crimes being committed against the U.S. by deep state traitors are acts of treason during a time of declared war. Acts of treason during a time of declared war. You put those two things together. I hadn't really completely comprehended that. Note, in order to do this, POTUS will need to declare a temporary martial law. So, because we're in a declared state of war, anybody that's doing treason automatically can be tried by military tribunals. That was like, whoa. That is like, whoa to me. The traitors are acts of treason during a time of declared war. So number 15 says, POTUS will need to support during this time to maintain order and civility across the nation as the arrests and trials of deep state traitors are underway. We should all expect mass violence and chaos from the left during this time. Be vigilant. That's why I was telling you guys, this is no joke. When he said National Preparedness Month of September, it was for a reason. He wanted them to know that he is ready to do mass arrests at any time. When that happens, there's going to be some areas of the country, we need to pray against this, obviously. There's going to be all kinds of violence and military, and so that's what I'm saying. Prepare with food and water, make sure you have flashlights and gas in your car, all that type of stuff. Prepare for potential disarray. Right? 16, Executive Order 13818, signed December 20th, 2017, blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuses or corruption. POTUS declares a national emergency to deal with these crimes. Therefore, determined that serious human rights abuses and corruption around the world constitute an unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security, foreign policy, and economy of the United States, I hereby declare a national emergency to deal with that threat. So this is already in play from December of 2017. Now here's the 17. It says the EO, the executive order, targets any foreign person determined by the Secretary of Treasury in consultation with the Secretary of State of the Attorney General to be a current or former government official or a person acting for on behalf of such an official who is responsible for or complicit in or has directly or indirectly engaged in corruption, including the misappropriation of state assets, Ding, 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 ding. The exploration of private assets for personal gain. Ding, 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 ding. Corruption related to government contracts or the extraction of natural resources. Uranium 1, ding, 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 ding. Or bribery. This is like, wow. Eric Thompson, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Here we are on number 19. It says that this clearly describes what Clinton, Comey, Mueller, Obama, Brennan, McCabe, and others carried out under the Obama regime. These are more than just felony federal crimes. These are acts of treason against the U.S. carried out during the time of declared war. Treason. I'm not going to give the definition there. We've read that many times, right? Number 20. On July 6th, Obama signed an EO 13618, Assignment of National Security and Emergency Preparedness Communities Functions. This executive order grants POTUS the absolute control over all U.S. media. This is huge. So Obama, here it is. Remember we talked about Obama, the whole we can declass because of one of his EOs. Now he can literally take complete control of the media. So this was an EO Obama put in place so that Hillary could activate this in her second 8 years of the 16-year plan to destroy America. So she could go take over all the media and any of the good people on Fox News would be gone. Any of the alternative medias would be gone. But Trump is going to use it to basically get rid of the deep state media and reinstitute, and I think the Lord is going to use this for what we talked about. The media's become a stench to his nostrils. He's going to put truth back in his media. So the ripping out of the unrighteous media is on the horizon. And this could be exactly what happened. This EO 13618 that Obama signed back in 2012, this executive order grants POTUS absolute control over all U.S. media, including internet tech giants, social media, news networks, and news websites. 21. It specifically names communications that support continuity of government, federal, state, local, territorial, and tribal emergency preparedness and response communications, non-military executive branch communication systems, critical infrastructure protection networks, and non-military communication networks, particularly with respect to prioritization and restoration. Trump's plan to rescue America from globalist and New World Order in order to halt this global dictatorship and defend America against traitors who are working to destroy it. President Trump must carry out the following actions. And the following actions are: A, release the D-class, unredacted deep state docs from within FBI and DOJ that will reveal the full extent of the deep state treason against America. The FBI and DOJ are currently stalling this effort, furthering their treason against America and proving they have a lot to hide. Right? They're proving how much they have to hide, and they're showing themselves who they are, committing more crimes as they go. And this says Pelosi, Schumer, Schiff, and Warner have already committed acts of treason in calling on the FBI and DOJ to defy the president's order. And here's the code 18 U.S. Code 2381 about treason. B is what Trump has to do to take down the deep state. Invoke the national emergency powers which are constitutionally granted to the executive branch of government. Technically, this has already happened in 2017 when POTUS signed the executive order above on December 21st, I think it was. Number 27, number C says invoke Obama Executive Order 13618 above and seize control of Google, Facebook, CNN, Washington Post, and the New York Times to halt the treasonous lies, coordinated election fraud, and the political coup attempt which is being run by all these traitors of America. I think this is going to be key. We either have to take them down one at a time to get rid of all the fake news media, or we just have to completely take control of it. So this would be a faster way of doing it. And I think there's multiple scenarios, and I think, like we were talking about with military strategy, we could do it multiple ways we can take these guys down. This is just one scenario. D, use all controlled communication channels to publicly declare the details of the crimes and the criminal actors which will be committed against America, which have been committed against America. Disclose everything to the American people about how their country had been overrun and destroyed from within. 29, order the military police to find and arrest thousands of deep state traitors who have been deliberately undermining America from within. This will include hundreds of people inside the FBI and DOJ, plus hundreds more in the State Department and other agencies. Arrests must include corrupt federal judges who deliberately undermine USA by, for example, blocking Trump's constitutional travel ban to protect USA from enemy terrorists. Many traitors will attempt to flee the country, and they will need to be located and brought to justice. F. All the things that Trump needs to do to destroy the deep state. Issue executive order demanding national voter ID for all future elections. No longer will America tolerate democracy being stolen by the votes of illegals and dead people who are granted voting rights by California and other complicit anti-American states or cities. And so that was just like, woo! And this person says, wow, that makes everything so clear. So that's a 31-point review by this person. That is a Lady Cute Anuk. So she only has, I was surprised, like I have like 7,000 followers on and Praying Medic has 10 times what I do. I think she only has like 2,000 followers. I think that's going to about ready to explode. I retweeted a ton of this stuff. And I just think she's amazing. So go try her out. I'm also going to get into a little bit of her look at today. She's got a whole 56-point thing for today. We can't go over all that, or we'd be here for 2 hours, right? But I'll go over some of the highlights of that. In the meantime, guys, another sponsor I have is part of this preparedness. This flashlight is awesome, and I think I've shown you that. I have it right back behind me, but. I've shown you the powerful magnet it has, the glass breaker, the fact that it has the seatbelt cutter, but most importantly is it has a solar powered. So if in the event you didn't have power for 4 weeks, to have something that's solar powered that can at least charge up your cell phone in case your towers are working, or be able to charge it up with the sun, and it's key. That's why I'm going to have one of these for each of my cell phones, right? And again, these devices make, I think, some great presents as well. It's just so engineered so incredibly. This screws off, and that's where the USB port is on the back of this here, right? And then this really lights up amazingly, blue, red, with different types of strobe lights. And you have a powerful of different types of beams here. So incredibly well-made, military-oriented device that is, again, the Patriot Survival Flashlight. Most importantly, solar-powered. And it works. It doesn't have to be in direct sun either. I just have it out in my backyard underneath the shade, and it literally will sit there and charge right up. And it charges up pretty quickly. So this is a well-made device, great present. Again, rugged, and I think that you would really enjoy it. It's like a $70 device, discounted from $140, but you can actually save another percentage by buying multiple ones, and also get 20% off using Blessed20. So the coupon code would be Blessed20. Again, if you buy multiple ones, it goes all the way down to $49 on each of these, and then if you get another 20% off that if you buy more. If you buy 3 of them, again, Blessed20, you put in here, and it'll take off a whole 20% off of this once you hit apply coupon. Again, so you get 3 of them for a very good price within many people's Christmas present buying range. That's going to be that website is Patriot's Flashlight, patriotflashlight.com. Patriotflashlight.com. Used Blessed20 to get your 20% discount off of that. Let's look at this Lady Canuck today. So again, this 51-point drop that she did today. And once you get on this thread, I don't know why that's an escape key there. Let me get back into that. Here's this huge thread that she had. So this is the one we just went through. If you go to her, she's got 2,200 followers. So go follow her if you're on Twitter. I think she's awesome. I'm impressed anyway. Here's this 54.1. So if you click on this thread, then you can go back to and go look at everything that happened today. I don't know why it's not being nice to me. It's not showing me the entire thread. Bummer. See if it's going to be nice to me if I do this right here. Show me the thread. Usually that's worked each time. I'll just say, there it is, show thread. Duh, hit show thread, Rick. Yeah, it's still not working for some reason. Bummer. So I'll have to figure out how to go through each of these. It's going backwards this way. So that's fine. I'll show you some of the key highlights here. So I'm going to blow this up here. Some arrests are possible now, is what they're talking about. I'm going to go backwards here for you guys because of the fact that Trump just closed down the government on Wednesday. So now I guess arrests of literal Congress people can be executed. I also got a prophecy that I'm going to go over here at the end. That is Charlie Shamp again. I know Charlie Shamp had a very specific on the elections, which I kind of declared as wrong. But now with all the election fraud and the new report coming by the 21st, I still giving him hope. And I saw another very specific thing, not as specific, but about George Bush's death that I think you'll find really fascinating. And again, boy, I just hope it's true, because if it's God talking, amazing things are going to happen in 2019. We'll talk about here in a second. So let me kind of whip through some of the things I thought were important. I talked to you about the artificial intelligence. Here's just a funny meme. This Bronco guy is awesome. Here's Mueller basically waterboarding people with financial ruin and imprisonment. Cough, cough. Okay, I'll say whatever you want to hear. Right? That's exactly what they're doing right now. This is kind of a funny meme too of the Grinch that stole Christmas and the hair that looks just like Michael Obama. Here we go. So here we talked about this. I went through this with you guys with this. What happened on 11/11? I had interpreted this when I did this a couple days ago with you guys, that this 11/11 that was going to be the day that America came together was a black hat CERN technology, which we do believe they have, where they executed a different way of communicating. But and that was based on one Anon's view. This Anon's view is more so, no, this is a white hat thing. So if you look at this, it says 11/11 provide as strategic marker post midterms. Red wave coming ? It says America will be unified again 11/11/18. Right, and then we find out about this new strange wave rippled around the world, and nobody knows why. And it actually went for 17 seconds. So 17 seconds, this wave came. So now what they're talking about is that we knocked out their communications with Snow White, right, with all the supercomputers. Then the Coronas, whatever those things were that were in the satellites, we knocked all those out. So now the deep state had no way. The CIA deep state had no way to communicate. So supposedly they implemented some new CERN technology that allowed them to use classified technology to start communicating again. And in 11/11, we used some of their technology against them to knock it out. So that's another theory that these Anons have, is that it may have been a white hat attack on 11/11 that made these rings come out. Think wave worldwide. SA knockout forced new classified technology by who? So that's a deep state using new classified technology. Controlled movement activated. So basically they're blind again. So remember how they went blind, and then all of a sudden we have the death of McCain, and so now they get back together so they can trade notes because they have no way to communicate, right? And they went to a skiff later in all the deep state trying to communicate because they had to have that face-to-face communication because they have their phones are compromised, everything. They lost all their satellites, everything. Now they put in this new classified technology, and I guess we took it back out on November 11th. 11/11/18 was a key day where we took them back out. Now they want to talk again, so hey, we have another funeral. How convenient. Have another funeral to go talk. So anyway, that was a interesting look at some of that stuff. So you guys can go look at this in more detail, but it's an incredible look at it. She's the one who talked about at least she found an Anon that talked about the time that the difference between when POTUS said calm before the storm till Q post was 23 days. It's like, whoa, that is wild. And this Nate King guy, I know a lot of you have many questions. Please understand, for legal reasons, this is the guy who is the whistleblower for the Clinton Foundation. I can't comment about the content of what I provided more than what is already out there. I will be on the Sean Hannity show at Fox News on Monday at 9 o'clock with my attorney, Michael Sarkaris, to tell my story. And so once, and this he talked about this on December 1st, and then December 3rd, Q talks about it, and then the Fox News cabal knocks him off. So we were going to have Nate Kane actually tell us what's going on. It's like we miss it now, but we'll get it soon. Don't worry, it's going to come out. Q drops 2546. So now she goes over all the Q drops here. I'm going backwards here on this thread. It usually would flip over and go the other way, but nothing real big and exciting here, except for we talk about the White Squall and the movie trailer that I already talked to you about. There's a couple other things I want to get to. This Scott Free Productions is interesting. We talked about that. This is the whole Michael Cohen thing we reviewed. Some cool memes again. Knowing is half the battle. I hope this, and so you can see just some really cute memes coming up as everything's happening. So everybody was excited about watching Hannity tonight at 9 p.m. So there was a lot of hype about that, obviously. And here's a D5 checkmate from an Anon. So here's an Anon. She says, I believe this Anon is spot on. They had their comms taken out on November 11th, sending them an online comms, which have also been penetrated by the white hats. So this is where I got that theory. It says Q didn't come here to tell everyone that he had our first leak. That breaks the rule of war, where you never let the enemy see you bleed. Act weak when you are strong. What did the leak prompt? A funeral, right? So this whole thing about D5 and the leak of the D5, right, was all about. It was so blunt. We all got excited, but they did it on purpose to get the deep state excited. So they purposely had to come out with the funeral. It was a GD lizard lounge because the a-holes can't communicate, so they called an emergency meeting to pass notes by using the card they were holding. George H.W. Bush dead. They get another meeting. Then we get the waves thing. I couldn't find news on a satellite being knocked out, but it would fit what's going on. If they had a new comm system that got hit on 11/11, then they are desperate for a meeting to probably looking for any new way possible to pass notes. Enter the new satellite Q mentioned, watching all of it. So basically, we used our new technology. You'll see some posts here later to start monitoring them, and they've lost their ability to communicate secretly again. They got it back a little bit. Now we've nailed it. Here's some great memes for you. You'll find here too. I'm forwarding these all over the place. FISA is coming. No class before testimony means they will not be able to limit their testimony to what is revealed. I'm not sure what that means, so I didn't have time to kind of look at that. D-class first means they can tailor their testimony to whatever facts are released and add excuses, arguing, extenuating circumstances, and the I didn't remembers, right? So they're basically saying what I believe too is that the D-class has to happen after all these testimonies. Soon the world will know the truth. Being on the truth train. So there's one other thing I really wanted to make sure you guys saw here. You probably saw this. This is just psycho, right? So they put every dog has its day in front of George W. Bush's coffin here. Their need for symbolism will be their downfall. And there's some numerology things that about the tail number of Air Force One. Not sure exactly what all this is, but just the fact that they had the dog there, right? And we had the dog of McSally, and we had just the dog of Comey. All this stuff is I'm sure we're gonna get an SB2 decode on some of this type of stuff. Some cool memes about everything, but we can see this the whole fact that we had the D5 and Q was so blunt about D5, and we had all that stuff coming in and Huber coming in, that this happened. There was huge panic in DC. So, we were in this movie number 2. Movie number 1 was Spygate, where it's still kind of running near the end because the D-class hasn't happened. But now we got panic in DC happening, where they're going, oh my goodness, it's really happening. So they are freaking out. Meeting postponed. Transparency and accountability, examining Google and its data collection, use and filtering the practices. So Google's off the hook. Google's going, oh my goodness, they caught me, right? I showed you all the compromise. Do not use Google search. It's completely compromised, completely politically correct, but more importantly, deep state oriented. Anon has discovered this posted on Drudge, and that was this. It was all on Drudge. This can't be a coincidence either. Found this Drudge report just now. Here is a future proves past. Many will be buried before exposed, right? So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on here. All the way back in March, he told us about many will be buried before exposed. So, well, one's McCain, right? Potentially Bush. He's 94, so, Don't know if we could count that one, but we are watching We Are Awake with a QI. Woo! Pretty cool memes here. Here's another meme. You are watching the systematic destruction of the old guard. Power will be returned to the people. Woo! Future proves past. Here's another future proofs past. Look at this. We talked about that standard deviation. I'll show you this for a second. The first standard deviation is like 65, and then it goes to 95 at the second standard deviation, and the third deviation is like 97.5 or something like that, right? That's what this is talking about. And he told us all the way back in November well, that's just this year. That's wow. I guess it wasn't too long ago. It was November 9th. He told us standard deviation broken long ago. Basically, all these Q proofs we have, hundreds and hundreds of them, right, make the standard deviation that it could be a coincidence impossible. That's the whole point of that, right? That's why the future proofs past. And here's the article that Anon's found that literally talks about this exactly. And what this thing is, it's literally called this 68, 95, 99.7, which Q dropped, is also known as the empirical rule. And if you really look at this a little deeper, you can see that the first and standard deviations is what it's talking about, where it almost becomes statistically impossible, right? And also known as the empirical rule is shorthand used to remember the percentage of values that lie within the band around the mean in a normal distribution within width of 2, 4, and 6 standard deviations, respectively, more accurately 60, 68, 95, and 97. So it looks like it's 2, 4, and 60 standard deviation. But where respectively in mathematical notation these facts can be expressed as follows, and so it's talking about it, but it basically becomes it's not going to happen if it's 99.73%. I guess that's 6 standard deviations. It's not going to happen, right? And that's what they're saying. We're way beyond that. He told us in November we're way beyond that. And I think that was the last thing I wanted to show you. That she did a really good job. She's got memes posted all over that makes it fun as well with her decodes. Oh no, there's one more thing. This is wild. So pay attention here. If you haven't paid much attention to our chat, and listen to this part. This is this whole thing about the presidential message on Hanukkah, right? You saw that, and he had a couple of things in there as well. But there's some anon was unintentionally discovered a hidden message from VP Pence within the presidential message on Hanukkah. Now on Hanukkah, I'm sorry, but I haven't really. If you inspect this and hit Control-Shift-I, supposedly you'll see this. It says, in all these codes, it says, the Chinese Communist Party has infiltrated our government, media, and educational system at every level and is actively using propaganda to program Americans to disrupt Trump and the MAGA agenda. This is the VP Mike Pence, not Alex Jones. So Alex Jones has been saying this for a year and a half, 2 years, right? I learned from him, or 2 years ago. Hollywood's buying up all the studios. China's buying up all the Hollywood studios, and this communist government, which is teaming with the deep state to take down America. They want America down, and so I'm going to read this one more time. The Chinese Communist Party has infiltrated our government, media, and educational system at every level and is actively using propaganda to program Americans to disrupt Trump and the MAGA agenda. This is VP Mike Pence, not Alex Jones. Woo! I tell you what. So what I love about this lady QAnon is that she is obviously an anon, pulling off anon things like Neon Revolt does. But she doesn't quite go as deep, and she's timely, right? So this was tonight. That I seldom do I get this type of depth of anon information. I'm having to go to vote.co to get it stuff, and going to news. I go to Sarah8.com, John Solomon on the Hill. I also go to Dan Bogino. So I go to all these different sources to get my information for the show for you guys. And this could be a whole nother level of cool stuff that I'm real excited about. And then she talks about the John Hannity show, these other drops, everything else. I think we've pretty much drained pretty well for a here's another anon thing. How does one obtain official whistleblower status? And this talks about this Kane guy that was going to be on Hannity. And so the big question is, Kane has also obtained official whistleblower status from the DOJ and Horowitz. And so it's just talking about how some different theories, and not detail. I didn't think was that too important, but if you wanted to go look into details about how he got that whistleblower status, there's the 6895 rule. See, we are on number 3, so we're almost done here. But that was that whole thread. I went backwards there because we already went through it forward once with you. But I think you'll enjoy her going forward. Go follow her on Twitter if you have a Twitter account. Here's some of the discussions on vote. I always like to refresh this to see if there's any more new discussions, but it pulls all these posts for today, and then there's discussion on it. The number one comment was this. Not real important. He's basically saying, when's it going to happen? And we've been waiting, and everybody's on board with it happening here. Obviously, we're going long today because I just had way too much news, and I want to get to a great prophecy here in a second too. We're at an hour already. Crazy. Daily Mail is scrubbing their articles about Jeffrey Epstein child sex abuse and the Clintons. As you know, his court case, I don't think it's delayed, hopefully, because it's a civil case. And but if you go it just shows you the deep state is doing everything they can to cover the tracks. Epstein's spending millions of dollars covering up all the tunnels in his Epstein Island, right? And then he's also now Daily Mail, who did a bunch of articles against him, are now deleting them. You get 404 errors on all the articles. So crazy how you see the deep state and how they had tentacles everywhere. And now, according to Pence, that it's not just the deep state is working with China and to take us all down, right? POTUS, scot-free. Tweets involve murder of director Tony Scott. So this is another twist to this whole Scott thing, right? When he said scot-free in his post, and we saw that went to the white squall and the where we go one, we go all, and the calm before the storm. Well, Tony Scott, his death was in 2012. I think this is what I taught you where it happened to be on October 5th, which was when Trump said calm before the storm. This is a little bit different twist on some things. Was Scott-free part of the Cabal, and was Tony killed or sacrificed, or to expand their plan? So this is really more about how he died, and could have Trump been talking to him in his death, and was that all around the Cabal? So interesting to see if there was a double meaning, not only scot-free from the fact that we know Q was pointing to the white squall, but also could have it been to his death. Interesting things coming out here. So that Q is so large that we crashed the house.gov server. You probably know that. We couldn't even get to it. Q posts a single link and the server went down. That seems to be happening quite a bit lately. Is what just happened really being overlooked? Expand your thinking. And here's another theory. Again, I'm way over time, so I'm not going to go over it, but I'll link these to you. I'll read the first part of this. All right, how about we stop getting our panties in a twist like a bunch of kids who just watched their birthday cake get dropped, and take a look at what else just happened. And he's talking, this is some of these tweets some of these posts that I like because they kind of reset us back. It wasn't nothing happened on December 5th, or Q was wrong again. This was a direct action by the deep state to prevent something Q said was about to happen. This is probably one of, if not the biggest, Q proof to date. So basically saying everything that we just saw happen, it's crazy, guys, that is proof that Q's having an effect on the deep state. He creates this D5 circumstance, and boom, they have to pull out all their punches, right? Okay, so here's this Broward County thing here. South Florida QAnon cop gets demoted from the SWAT team. Can you believe that? So this is the guy, this guy right here. He's a QAnon cop. He gets demoted from the SWAT team just for wearing the Q on his deal, and it went viral. So that's how powerful these media matters creeps are, that attack anybody who doesn't believe in their narrative. And that shows you how powerful Q is as well. And that is why most Anons believe that Q posted this article saying, hey, your name is being expedited, guy. Just post here. I think that's so pretty cool. See if I can find it real quick. I'm just going to go Control F, your name. It's not being nice to me. Went too far. Anyway, you know what I mean. That isn't that just awesome that patriots just like Flynn and all these people being attacked, and patriots like this South Florida QAnon cop they're gonna be taken care of, right? They're probably gonna get some awesome job. This past Friday, Broward Sheriff's Office, Broward just out of control, aren't they? SWAT member Matt Patton, so that's his name, Matt Patton. So I'm saying, hey Matt, apply for the Secret Service, apply to the FBI. Your name is being expedited, dude. We're gonna get you a great job. so that is just, I don't know. It's proud to be American is what I am, is when you see things like this as we take these guys down. 2545. If you decide to change careers, your name has been fast-tracked. That's what I was looking at for, is 2545. So now, 2545, but not a number, I can probably find it real quick. As the name brought me way down, 2545. It was a lot earlier than I thought. There it was, name right there. So 2545 was the Secret Service and the FBI jobs. And if you decide to change careers, Matt, your name has been entered to be fast-tracked. That is Matt Patton, most people believe. And I agree with that analysis. A couple other pieces of news before we get to the prophecy. Trump quietly deletes tweet urging followers to tune into Sean Hannity. So this shows you that if you go look at that tweet that Q posted, it's not in his Twitter because he had deleted it way back in January. All right, so this was, almost exactly 11 months ago is when that tweet was made. So Q just used it to get us to watch Hannity because he knew there was going to be 3 powerful guests on, which all got canceled by the Fox Cabal. Christopher Sheldon, the skipper of the White Squall's connection to Trump's statement. And so this we're talking about. He died on October 5th, 2002. And Trump made the calm before the storm statement on October 5th, 2017. October 5th. That could have been in honor of this White Squall skipper, Christopher Sheldon. So that's pretty cool if you think about it. Now, it was reported on the 6th. Everybody says October 6th. He said October. That's when it was reported. He actually said it on October 5th. That's just a clarification for everybody. You've probably seen this before. It's another meme showing Washington Post right after the inauguration of Trump. They all used the word dark. His dark. Everybody. Mother Jones, New Yorker, dark. Nation, they used dark twice. New Yorker, dark. The Nation, dark. The Global, his speech was dark. Huffington Post, dark. You can see the Cabal scared to death way back on Inauguration Day. The Cabal was completely using their fake news media. This is why this is a stench in God's nostrils, and these guys are the enemy of the people. They're the key thing that is controlling all of our friends that don't believe us, right? They're controlling the thought process of, in a deep way, probably 45% of the population, and even some parts are 75% of the population. So it's scary. Did anyone see the Air Q? And this is, by the way, this is where I like to start to wake people up. Give people like this meme and saying, you really think all these people thought that Trump's speech was dark, or they got 4 a.m. talking points? The double agents in the media have 4 a.m. talking points, and you show this to a normie. That's some of the most powerful stuff I've used to wake people up. Did anybody see the Air Cube? This is cool. The Air Cue that Trump made on October 6th, it was actually October 5th, 2017, at the press conference where he declared the calm before the storm. So I don't know if you guys saw this. So he put a link right here. I didn't see this, but now you go back and you go, wow. Before we even knew Q was, 23 days before we knew what Q was. Look at Trump. Let's see if I can get the sound on. Just blew it up too much, I guess.
You guys know what this represents?
Now watch Trump. Darn it.
You guys know what this represents?
He just did it. See, there's the cue right there.
You guys know what this represents?
Tell us, sir.
Maybe it's the calm before the storm.
I blew it up so much you guys didn't get to see it.
The calm before the storm.
I try to make it so large for you that I can't get there. Now there's Trump. Okay, now see if I can get back there. There you go.
You guys know what this represents?
Tell us, sir.
There it is.
Maybe it's the calm before
See, he goes
the
zoop,
storm.
zoop. So this is way
You guys know
back.
what this represents?
Tell us, sir.
Maybe it's the calm
Right
before
there.
the storm.
He did a Q. He did the Q 23 days. 23 days before Q came out.
Tell us the
Did you see that? Whoa. I just think that's so awesome. I had no idea that he did that 23 days before Q even was in existence. It's like, wow. I just love how this guy is amazing. Oh, here's somebody talking off topic, but need prayers for my family today. This guy had an illegal alien kill his son. He was in a trial that day, asking for prayers. So if you're a praying person, go pray for this poor person's son as his son got killed by actually working for Amazon, delivering packages for Amazon. The illegal alien ran over his son. He thinks it was purposeful. So, our country is going to be a totally different country, guys. And look at this, I hope this prophecy that Charlie Champ talks about here in a second I'll get to. Supreme Court makes a big decision and turns down challenge to Trump's border wall. This was good. They were challenging it, saying about all about ecosystem and environmental regulations, basically, right? So that is great news. Shows Kavanaugh already helping, I would imagine, in there saying, we're not going to see this. We need a wall, dudes. French Revolution. Ambulances blocked the most important streets in Paris. Spain election to Trump supporters. France, Germany, and now Sweden joined the protest against globalism and UN Agenda 21. Go see my show tomorrow night if you missed it. It is crazy. This is a worldwide event. It seems like Europe is more awake to QAnon than America is. It is crazy to go see how they, and if you just look at this, it's like the French Revolution. It is just amazing. Paramedics have joined the riots in Paris and used their ambulances to block the most important streets. Anti-Macron protests spread. Ambulance workers joined the rebellion. French riot police remove helmets in social solidarity with the protesters. Well, if the French military refuse to fight, then the game is over. The people of France have won, and Macron is out. So that is crazy. And then it's talking about Spain, election win with new Trump-supporting party. So Swedes are start protesting against the mass migration in front of Parliament. Meanwhile, in Berlin, I think you saw this. This is the people holding up all the Q. They're all protesting and holding up Q signs. America media won't report on one key detail about the French riots. They're about climate change policies. They're not about taxes. They're mad about what they're doing to take down the country. Where are the protests in the UK? People in the UK happy with migrants and Agenda 21? So everything but UK, everybody's rebelling here. Nothing can stop what is coming, says Q. So this is a great thing of just other posts of what's going on in other parts of the world. This is not a movement. Many of the people on right now, of the 3,000 plus people listening right now, are not in the United States. This is exciting. They're in Australia, New Zealand, other parts of the world, all here for Q, for Trump, for us. They're praying for us in the United States to see this come, this healing that God's doing in the United States to be worldwide. It's going to be exciting. It might not be as much as I thought it was going to be more of a healing in the United States and be replicated. It might kind of happen a little bit more at the same time. Here is Nate Kane saying, friends, I have just been contacted by Fox News. Look at this. It's 6:19 p.m. today. I have just been contacted by Fox News and informed that due to H.W. Bush's funeral, somebody saying that there are some riots going on in England, it looks like. Many segments, including mine, have been canceled for tonight. I will update you when I know more. So there's the Fox Cabal in action, showing them. So that's the news, which usually I try to get through in about 45 minutes. So I have 15 minutes to go over the prophecy and prayer with you guys. But hope you understand. We just had such great amount of posts as well as new information that this is an exciting time. That's probably why we have over 3,100 people on this right now, right? So now let's look at a little bit on this prophecy of Charlie Champ. And before I get into that, again, this preparation, guys, is vital. As you can see, there's riots going on in France on a good way, but we're going to have in a bad way. We're going to have people, and martial law is likely going to be called, right? And so to actually be prepared with especially with food, right? And just that you could have. You can eat this as you go. Even if things settle down, you can eat this. It's good food. It has 25-year shelf life, up to some of them are 10 to 12 years. Your hard work is much appreciated. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Chris Pye. But you will see 4-gallon tote ships in one business day, and then you get a huge discount down to $75 for a 2-week supply. If you want more food varieties and a whole 4-week supply, you can get in a 10-gallon tote. They're really high-quality totes. And again, this is a whole $100 off for that. And again, you need to have 2 to 4 weeks. I heard some people selling food like this, and they're saying, you need 6 months of food. Well, I think that's a little extreme. But get 2 to 4 weeks for each person in your family, right? Just part of this preparedness and other preparedness things. Again, you can go to preparewithrick.com. So go to preparewithrick.com to get food and making sure that you're prepared for some of these things that might be happening. All right, let's get into a prophecy. We're going to, obviously, if you want to get to my show notes, come to blessed2teach.com with 2, blessed2teach.com. Put your email on there. Also, on my Patreon, by the way, guys, I have the chat group going. So I'm going to try to keep it to around 50 people. But I've fired it up now, and so we're chatting during the day to those people who want to do that. I also, if you go to Patreon, I put up these videos every once in a while, and you will on your phone. You'll get them on your phone and be able to see me do little 20-second videos every once in a while about when I'm preparing. So just another perk for those of you who want to come to Patreon. You can support me for as little as $1 a month, right? This helps me with some of the storage and costs of everything that I'm doing here. Do appreciate everybody who support me on Patreon. Again, it's patreon.com/blessed2teach, and there's a link down below all that there. Let's do this prophecy. This is Charlie Shamp, November 14th. Now, he talked about today because President Trump just died. And he named this, I forgot to put the name about this. It's talking about Bush. It's talking about Bush for sure. So he says, I heard the Lord say, surely this present term will not close without a passing of a former president. It will mark the changing of the times and the seasons for the United States of America. Watch the time and set the season. 2019, is it now a time of acceleration for a nation? Is it not a door that I will walk through and bless you, America? This will not lock me out or plot the course back to the old days of ruling the people through lies and deception. They have been honored. They have honored me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. They have acted religious, but they have rejected the power that could make this nation truly godly and great during their day. Did I not say, whoever goes about slandering reveals secrets? Therefore do not associate with a liar or a simple babbler. My word will come to pass. I will cut off the governmental branch of the bush and graft a new wild olive tree. That's basically Bush is going to be replaced with Trump. And it sprout forth, and from that time forward. For I have fully rejected Saul in this season and have chosen David. So basically saying the Bush is like Saul, and David is Trump, my elect. I have chosen him to lead this nation to battle, and he will remove the giants from the land. And remember, Kim Clement talks about the giants of socialism, the giants of debt. What Saul and his family refused to do for fear of man, David, my servant, and his son will do in a single season by my hand. Look at it, single season is going to happen. All right. Some will say, look at what has taken place. The bush is dead and the branch withers away. And he named it about that. The bush is dead and the branches wither away. But this wild branch, it blossoms and blooms. You know Trump's a wild branch, right? We must stop it. What are we to do? Yet I say to you, watch what I will do. The wind of change shall blow upon the bush, and it will be blown out of the way. So the Bush legacy is gone. New graft is put in of the wild graft. The Republican, here it is. Listen to this. This is the big part. The Republican Party will be changed and never look the same. For I am doing a sign. I am doing a new thing, says the Lord. A thing that if I had told you before this time, you would not have believed it. I will work a work in your land. It will be my prophetic plan. I will unite white and black, every skin color, and will stand under the grace of my giving hand. I will remove the past, reshape your future, and build your country with every skin color. I will remove the banner of hate and shame caused by the lies of men and their sin. The propaganda has come up before me, and I will reveal every lie and remove every man that pushes hate and even those that race bait. They will be exposed, removed, and brought to shame for what they attempt to do. I have raised this presence up, and he will fight to unite your nation under the banner of my Son. My blood will be the only color that man will see from sea to shining sea. Look out at the nation and pay attention. Be astounded. Be really astounded, because something is happening in your lifetime that you won't believe, even if it were described down to the smallest detail. For one party will be changed overnight as the bush is uprooted from the earth. The other will be broken for the lies and deception they have sown and will not recover. That's talking about the Democratic Party. And the other party will be broken for the lies and deception they have sown and will not recover. For what they will attempt to do, they will be removed. Have I not said? Those who live only to satisfy their own sinful nature will harvest decay and death from that sinful nature. But those who live to please the Spirit will harvest everlasting life from the Spirit. You are living in that hour. What they have set in their hearts to do to David will surely come upon them. The enemies have set a trap. They have dug a deep pit in his path, but they themselves will fall into it. Prophet Charlie Shamp. Woo! This is just like we read in Esther. Those of you doing the Bible study with me, Esther, right, where Haman set up for Mordecai that gallows to hang Mordecai because they hated him so much. Just like they hate Trump. They have Trump derangement syndrome. They set up this trap to trap Trump, and they're going to fall into it. Just like Haman was hung on his own gallows. That's exactly what this is saying is going to happen to the deep state as they fight Trump. And in his video, he talked about America is not Sodom and Gomorrah, but it's Nineveh. You know how Nineveh, when Jonah got there, in the book of Jonah, he got there, and he actually had to tell them that they were going to be destroyed, just like America probably was going to be destroyed. And they all tore the king and all the people tore their clothes, right? And they put ashes on, and they repented, and God saved them. And God is going to save America, according to Charlie Shamp. And I believe this is consistent with other prophets, so I'm still testing Charlie, so I'm not sure about him. But he also said something that I didn't really agree with, but heck, he knows more than I do, maybe. He says Bush repented. He says Bush Sr. repented, and he actually went to heaven. However, he didn't receive any rewards. It was any rewards. That's what he was talking about. All right, let me start this end with a prayer and also just a real quick verse. This is part of my 66 verses on scripturetyper.com, or 67 verses I think I have now, of my favorite verses that I memorize. And this is Romans 10, 9 through 10, right? And so this is talk about, if you declare with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For it is with your heart that you believe and are justified, and it is with your mouth that you profess your faith and are saved. That's Romans 10:9, part of the Romans road that I talk about all the time. It's a beautiful thing. Again, that didn't say I have to go do something. It says basically it's 100% Jesus. Declare with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead. That's faith. It's 100% faith and 0% works. It's not what you do. That's the biggest difference between Christianity and all the religions. It was the biggest revelation I had, is that, number one, I deserve to go to death because I'm sinful, and only perfection is allowed in heaven. It's like, so what do? Well, you need a Savior that has a perfect life. His life was a substitute for you and me. 100% faith. It's an awesome, awesome thing to have a relationship with the true, almighty God of God, Lord of Lords, and King of Kings. Well, how? Through a relationship through Jesus Christ. We get a relationship with the God of the universe. What a beautiful, beautiful thing we have. Let me pray about that. Heavenly Father, just thank you so much for giving us your Son to die on the cross for us, that we can have a relationship with the God of the universe. How awesome is that? How awesome is it to be able to know that we don't have to work for it and try to be perfect and try to do things? What we have to do is just submit and say, I'm sinful, Lord. I need a Savior. Save me, Lord. It's 100% Jesus and 0% me. Then I'll probably do good works, okay? Because you see what he did for you. He saved you. You have a relationship with the one true God. He puts the Holy Spirit in you. You will then start doing good works. That's why faith without works is dead. But you're saved 100% through faith. Lord, thank you so much for that. Thank you for making it easy and different from all these religions that say you have to work and do all these hundreds of things to get to heaven. We can have assurance of salvation based upon your truth of your gospel, just like you say right here in Romans 10, 9 and 10. And Lord, we just pray that this country will be healed like you're talking about, and that the other countries around the world. I pray for Belgium, I pray for France, I pray for the people in Australia and Europe and Sweden and all these other countries that are being overrun by these globalists with evil plans. Expose all these globalists, Lord. Foil their plans. Give us insight, give us wisdom, give us discernment, please, Lord. Allow these great people that are listening to me now, whether it's on video or recording or live here, give them discernment and wisdom, and let them know if I've erred in any way. Give us the time to actually unite as a country. What a beautiful time it will be. We look so forward to going on this journey with you, Lord. We thank you in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, guys, thank you so much for taking extra time with me. Here we are at almost an hour and a half. I knew this was going to be a long show because I had so much material to go. And not the best at trying to sneak things in under an hour, because I love to be comprehensive with you guys so that you don't miss anything. So I know a lot of you go to a lot of other decoders as well, but if there's some people that only have time for my show, I want to make sure they've got all the key areas, right? I skip 80% of what I look at, but the 20%, I'm just not going to skip the real important stuff. Some says $6 Clinton tour. Yeah. That was funny, and they're almost all empty seats. I saw that. That was kind of funny. I'm actually having people pay, and a lot of amens. Thank you, guys. Do appreciate that. Blessed to teach. Thank you, Rick, and God bless. Thank you. Thank you, too. Larry, thank you. Love the show tonight. Prayer was the best. Thank you so much, guys. It's extremely late. I actually have a flight. I'd leave here at like 7 a.m., so do have to get to bed. Rick, you hit 3.5K. The Great Awakening hit 3.5. Wow, that's crazy. That was a big show as far as live attendance. We'll see how this video does later. It's being as long as it is, but boy, great information. It was awesome. But really do appreciate you guys. Again, Matthew and Terry and Kevin and Rational Man and John Henry and Safe Travels, brother, says John Henry. Deplorable Zoe Girl. God bless Rick and crew. God bless you all. Thanks, Rick, says DJ. Evie and is it Wazda Damanda? I'm not sure what that is. God bless you, Rick, and the Lord shines through the positive attitude you truly are. Thank you, Amy. Do appreciate that. Appreciate everybody that has just taken the time to spend the time with me through this journey. It's a great time. I think I've told you the Lord's working on with me what I think He's going to want me to do in the future, and I think as you guys would do that as well. It's one of my things I'm thinking of, helping everybody that I come in contact with think through what their passion is, what their talents are, how I can mix and maybe put them together with other teams. And my specialty is helping teams be effective. And to be effective, it would be so awesome to go be effective against Silicon Valley, effective against against Hollywood, effective against academia, effective against all these this governmental areas, where we can go actually have an effect on all these different areas. And I'm looking so forward to thinking through how God's going to work with us on that. So anyway, yeah, we got great. Shirley says we have great mods. Thank you, Dream with me in another phase, as well as Larry and Lou. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being with here so late here on a Monday night, especially for those of you on the East Coast and in other countries. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Jesus already won this war. We are just living it. That's right, Lou. That's exactly right. I love that attitude. Let me get back to here and say, hey, guys, this might think this is bad news, seeing all these delays and everything, but it's showing their cards. We now know exactly who's executing this plan, and they're committing more crimes as they go and digging them a deep hole. As they dig this pit for Trump, they're going to be falling right in it, just like Hangman actually hung on his own gallows. It's going to be exciting. And Fox News shows their cabal nature, that they're controlled opposition. We can't trust them worth anything. They announce things 2.5 hours before the election voting's over, showing their cabal nature. And then they literally take, after Q tells us to watch Sean Hannity, they take 3 guests off the show, showing what they're canceling their key guests, that they are compromised. But exciting things, we found a new decoder who's awesome on Twitter. And we'll be following her going forward. It's going to be fun to walk through this journey with you guys. It's the Blessed Cheat Show. Rick, your host, on December 3rd. God bless you guys. We'll see you next time.